My name is Nicola, and this is my husband and partner Richard.
Nick has a complex range of medical issues that have developed over the last 8 years or so. From a physical perspective, she has what's known as polyarthritis, which is principally psoriatic arthritis, but then rheumatoid, osteoarthritis and spondylitis. On top of that, she has medication-induced tremors, which are getting quite pronounced. Type 2 bipolar, depression, agoraphobia, panic attacks and anxiety attacks. The result of this now is that she has a dependence on medication. I now care for Nick on a full-time basis.
I'm on 250 tablets a week, so different ones of those relate to different departments. We use rheumatology for physical. I have medication monitoring clinics, and I also have physiotherapy, which is, I've just finished 16 weeks of hydrotherapy, and I'm starting home physiotherapy next week. I'm dermatology because I have obviously skin condition, psoriasis as well. It affects me in my scalp, in my ears, in my eyes. And then obviously I've got occupational health who come here. They assess me here for how I can manage and get around. They also come in to check whether or not the bathroom's suitable and whether or not I need a ramp out the front and things like that, because now when I go out the front door, I am wheelchair bound. I suffer from fragility fractures. My GP obviously covers both sides of it. She covers both my physical side, monitoring and mental health.
They treat us as a collective unit, so they take my well-being into account and those around us, as well as just Nick. And that's quite crucial, and it's the thing that tends to get forgotten.
We went along to pain management classes to try and help me to manage ongoing pain. And I asked to take my carer because it's an important part of it. He has to learn to manage my pain as well. It's not just me that's up at 2 o'clock in the morning wanting painkillers, it's him that has to wake up and give them to me. So it's important there's two of us. And I actually cannot tell you that I live my life as I want to. I personally would like to go back in time and still be able to walk, and to not wake up in the morning and have pain all through. I never have a pain-free period. Sometimes I wish I'd almost woken up one morning and it was like that. The slow degeneration is sometimes, to be honest, soul destroying. And when you sometimes go to do something that 2 months previously you could do, it hurts a little bit more sometimes, and you sort of think, you know, I have 2 times of the day that I love the most. The first one is in the morning. I wake up and for about 5 seconds I've forgotten. And until the messages come through, bang again, I've forgotten that there's pain. My mind is just in that 5 seconds of absolute...
The pre-awake stage.
Yeah, pre-awake stage. And when I go to bed, just as you're about to drift off, is lovely, because as you're about to drift off, all your body's slowed down, you can't feel so much pain, and it's like, yeah. So those are the 2 times a day I love the best. We try to have a more personal relationship with all of the people we interact with.
Your responsibility to take ownership of what's wrong. So we take ownership of Nick's health and my health. So it's not a case of we rely on the GP, we rely on the rheumatologist consultant to tell us what we need to do next. It's very much a partnership, and you have to own your own problems. You make an appointment for whatever, whether it's mental or to see a specialist. There are statistics that have to be measured on is the patient seen at the right time, and it's apparently a technique to tick the box. Yes, we've given a patient an appointment within 3 months or 6 months, whatever the waiting list is. Then if you cancel it, the clock starts again. 2.5 months later, you get a letter to say, I'm really sorry, due to unforeseen circumstances, we're going to need to cancel that and reschedule. And your rescheduled appointment is for 3 months' time. And then 2.5 months later, you get another letter that says, I'm so sorry, because of unforeseen circumstances, we're going to have to reschedule.
I actually ended up going for more than a year without an appointment. And in that time, my arthritis went from reasonably active to very active. A single nationally integrated IT platform would be wonderful, because one of the things we have is the letters that are sent to us and back to our GP. We obviously ask for copies of all of those so we can help to manage it and pass them on to the professionals that haven't got them. We together between us coordinate the management of my health programme, so it works better. But Richard is also included in that. His health is monitored as well, so we're treated as a single unit by a doctor. We thought it's a shame that other people don't get that same help. So what we thought might be a useful thing was to introduce, like the police have, a family liaison officer. And they have a family liaison officer if something happens, if there's a crisis in the family. So we thought if there could be a health liaison officer that could basically deal with us, and then they could deal with all the departments within the NHS.
I've actually given up work to look after it is a 24/7. Clearly it's not, I'm not working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, but you're there, you're on call. Different people have different levels of needs.
Yeah.
So you can't categorise, you're a carer, so therefore that's what you do. That's the effort you have to put in. Everyone's different.
From my point of view, when I had to sit with the fact that I was responsible not just for me giving up work, but for my partner giving up work, it's a horrible feeling. During the bipolar shifts, he has to be aware of them. And funny enough, I get medication to help me deal with them. He doesn't, but he still goes through them. We also take a sensible attitude. We don't just sit by with a passive acceptance of a situation. Yes, I have to accept disability, but that doesn't mean to say that I have to passively accept whatever everyone else tells me my life is.
Focus on mental health and mental well-being, the physical issues that some people face as their health deteriorates, I think will naturally have an impact on the mental health service, because more physical disabilities will start demanding support, because their mental health will crumble.
We've seen that actually with other disabled people that we've got together with as we've gone through various clinics, and we found out some of them that have no mental health help. They have no help in getting used to dealing with constant pain. They have no help in adjusting to suddenly losing their abilities, and they don't know where the anger's coming from. They don't know where the crying's coming from. They're trying to deal with it, and they get put on more medication just to try and stop it, and they end up numb.
Yeah,
and they're not thinking for themselves, and that's horrible.
There's still a huge taboo with admitting that I have a mental health issue.
Yes.
Yeah, dealing with constant pain will create a mental health issue.
They send you text messages to remind you of your hospital appointments. We find that very confusing because we just get a text message that
They don't
says
tell you which appointment.
Which appointment or which department. We just get a message to say you've got a hospital appointment.
So when you get 3 of them through on the same day, you go,
It's not sure which one's which. And
one's
because, sometimes they don't send out letters for changed appointments and things like that, we have to start trying to phone up and work out who it might be. I seriously believe if you look at the way that our GP operates, that should almost become a model for the way things are done.
This wasn't something that happened by chance.
No.
We were actually had 2 separate doctors at the same surgery. Rebecca became Nicola's...
Because my own went off on sabbatical.
Yeah, so she started treating Nicola. Obviously I was always at the appointments, and she made the recommendation to her partners that we should be brought together for our joint health needs. There's always a balancing act. There's going to be limited funding, there's going to be limited resources, there's going to be issues and challenges all over the place. It's important, and communication is probably the key area. But it's trying to get to the point where we can work together with health professionals, and it's not them and us. It's not, I'll stamp that piece of paper because I've done my job. It has to be more flexible. The
role of the carer is vital, because if your carer doesn't basically get included in all of the doctor parts, if they were just left to me, they wouldn't get done. So your carer is the one that takes care of you and knows when you need to do things. And yet they're basically unsung heroes.
Someone like me who's trying to face off with all the departments across the NHS and having to learn that process with no knowledge. You've got all the departments who don't know me and Nicola. There's a bit missing. If there was a me on the other side looking after the NHS, one-on-one contact would make the whole thing a lot smoother. I don't have to spend hours trying to find out which department I need, what services are available. There's someone there that knows that.